Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Recovery Talk. It is I, your host, Mr. Show Out TV. We got a special guest in the building today, Miss Melissa Slack. She will be telling us about redefining herself in addiction. Will also be sharing with us her journey in addiction as well. So, are y'all ready? Let's go.
Like I said, it's just my thing is
I'm trying to help these young people. You know, I've done eventual. As far as we go, a lot of our friends dead. They are dead. God froze up on my hand too. But I also want to tell you this.
we don't got abuse. We don't talk about those things because deep down it's been generationally passed down to us that ain't nobody trying to hear your motherfucking problems.
Are you going to the bone with me? How you feel? Don't be scared, it's real. No more dreaming dreams. Now we're living dreams. Go tell all the homies why you know you know. The power of the taking, you know I'ma kill. Hope you're right ever since I let you in. You're my first and my last and whatever in between. It was on.
Welcome everybody back. It is I, your host, Mr. Show Out TV. And this is what we do on my channel, everybody. We try to inspire those in addiction. We're trying to change the narrative about addiction. And we also try to come up with solutions. So if you're out there watching right now, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, I would love for you to hit that like button, hit the notification bell, so when anytime I go live, you can be notified when I go live. So today, we have a special guest, Miss Melissa Slack. She will be blessing us today. Yes, everybody. She will be blessing us today with her journey in addiction and her trials and tribulations as well. And also redefining herself in addiction as well. So, Miss Melissa Slack, welcome to Recovery Talk, Mr. Show Out TV. Would you like to introduce yourself to the viewers?
Hi guys, my name's Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
I am a recovering and set-free alcoholic.
Yes, ma'am.
Or I like to say a delivered alcoholic.
That's it. So redefining yourself in addiction. Can you tell us about the journey that you went through and how that all came out?
I had always drank like throughout my life. It never really was a big issue until about 4 years ago. I had gone through a divorce, going through some trials and tribulations with my children. My daughter had tried to commit suicide. And I was just really overwhelmed. And my family, when I was with them, alcohol was the go-to medication. That was your go-to if you were stressing. That was the go-to. I didn't really drink to have fun. It was more my mom drank when things were really bad. And that's all I ever saw. So when my daughter had come from the hospital, I just started drinking, just heavily started drinking. At first it was every weekend. And then it went from every weekend to every other day. And then it went from every other day to every day. It was consistently like that for almost 2 years. I tried to hide it from everyone I possibly could, but you could see it in my face. You could see it in my weight. I just blew up. I was super skinny. And then I just it was just horrible. You could see it in my skin, smell it on me. I was a hot mess. I ended up actually I'm also diagnosed with bipolar depression, anxiety. And I ended up having a mental breakdown because I wasn't taking my medication on a regular basis. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating right. So I really hit rock bottom. Ended up going into the hospital, and I had DCFS in my life at the time, and they ended up taking the kids from me and giving them to their dad. And that was a real hard thing because I was trying to protect them when I had left him, and to get them, it was just like a shell shock. Like, oh Jesus, I'm in the mess. everyone had told me I was an alcoholic, I wouldn't believe them. I was like, no, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, I'm just self-medicating. I'm medicating myself. You know, if you were going through my life, you would do the same stuff kind of thing.
Right.
Oblivious to what I really was. And I ended up getting my kids taken, and I was supposed to go to rehab. The day before, or that night before I was supposed to go to rehab, I ended up getting raped by someone I knew. He was my dealer when it came to alcohol. He was my dealer when it came to money. You know, he took advantage of me. I was blacked out drunk and woke up to it. Ended up going into rehab, still completely messed up from that. Like, first I get my kids taken, and then that happens, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to go to rehab because DCFS said I have to go to rehab. It wasn't necessarily for myself. Came out of rehab, and it was shell shock for me. Coming to a house where the incident happened, coming to a house with no kids, I just was like, say what? Trying to stay sober. I was sober 24 hours after rehab, 24 hours. Ended up drinking like crazy. I wasn't going to work anymore. I was on disability at the time. So I ended up sitting on my couch, you know, not taking a shower, not taking care of myself. And it was really, really bad for a good couple of months. And I ended up just saying, you know what? I saw a bottle and some pills. And I was like, well, I just want to take my life. I'm done. Like, I just can't do it. You know, I didn't have anybody to talk to. Everyone just pretty much shut me out because they were like, oh, you're just having a mental breakdown or this, that, and the other, excusing it. And I'm just like, no, something else is wrong. You know, I'm a Christian too. And, you know, I believe in that stuff more so now than I did before. And I just remember seeing that bottle and wanting to take my life. I ended up saying, you know what, I'm going to the hospital. I called the hotline with my doctor, called them. I was like, I'm suicidal. I have already drunk a pint of vodka, and it was 100 proof vodka. I was intoxicated as heck, didn't care. And I was like, I'm looking at this bottle and I will down that with the rest of my alcohol and just die and be fine with it. They ended up coming, police came knocking on my door. Praise the Lord, they did. And the therapist stayed on the phone with me until they got there. And when I sat in the hospital room, because it kept me on a 72-hour hold. And I remember laying in bed, crying my eyes out, looking up to heaven and just being like, God, all right, I'm done. I can't do this no more. You know, this may have been what I was taught growing up. This isn't me. This isn't who you made me. This isn't how I want my kids to see me. You know, I had already gone on a rampage and hadn't seen them from almost a year. About 6 months to 8 months, almost a year. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't not see my kids. You know, I can't just let their dad have everything. And, you know, I was done. So I looked at God. I'm like, you know what, God, you help me through this. You deliver me like you tell me in the Bible, and you say you deliver when we come to you openly and with a whole heart and ask for forgiveness for what we're doing to ourselves. You know, I was in self-destruct mode, you know, completely, utterly into self-destruct mode. And I was just like, I can't do it. So they kept me to the 72-hour hold. I came back home. My pastor, my first lady at the time, came to my house. And my pastor, I call him Papa because he's been my father figure even with my mess. And I literally remember looking at his face. He did not say a dang thing. He didn't say nothing. He never judged me for he knew I was an alcoholic. He knew I was going through stuff, but he never judged me. He just looked at me. He didn't say nothing. And that's the worst feeling. Like, just knowing you're like the person you call Papa looking at you like, yeah, no, we not playing this. Right. My first lady, who I call Mama, was talking to me, you know, trying to lift me up. But that look on his face was just everything. He just looked at me. He says, you call me Papa, right? I'm like, yeah. And I call you daughter. I'm like, yeah. He's like, this isn't how my daughter lives. I mean, my house was dark. It looked depressed as heck. It was just horrible. And, you know, it was a mess. I hadn't cleaned it in months. Like, it was just awful. He's like, my daughter doesn't live like this. She just doesn't. And I'm going to teach you how to stop self-destructing. But I need you to give your whole heart. And I'm going to sit here and we're going to give your whole heart. I know you've been a Christian. We're going to sit here and do the prayer of as if you're a born again Christian. That's right. What we're going to do. And I said, okay. Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? All right. That day, I completely, utterly forgot all the things I had learned prior to that. This was a whole new slate for me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to revamp who I am. And how I'm going to do that is reading my Bible and praying every day and meditating. And it wasn't easy at first. It took me a minute. There was days I didn't get up. There was days I was just like shaking. There was days that I was depressed as heck. You know, the medicine wasn't working because my mind was having to recalibrate to its self, to its new self. So I'm having to change how I'm thinking. I'm having to change how I act every day. I'm having to like revamp everything I ever learned. And it was hard, especially since I had always blamed everybody else. Like it was everybody else's problem. It wasn't my problem. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I drink, but it's not my problem. It's my kid's problem, my excessive problem. You know, everybody else's. You know,
that was
how
me
I
too.
grew up.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But that was the first time I said, you know what? It's my problem. It's my fault. This is a natural consequence for my own behavior and not accepting what I really was doing to myself. And slowly but surely, I just started thinking different. I didn't go back to work right away. I took about 3 months before I went back to work. And I just, my papa told me, okay, now you got to make a plan and make a plan. I said, all right, I'm going to have my kids back. I'm going to have a whole new look on myself. I'm going to look different. I'm going to feel different. I'm going to like I had this whole plan. He's like, okay, now you put that plan out, right? I'm like, yeah. Now I need you to go and pray and meditate and let God show you how to do that. Right. So the first thing was I started hashing out everything the court had ordered me to do before they had closed the case. And that was alcohol, a full-blown alcohol treatment, an outpatient treatment plan. So I was in that for 3 months. So I did that continuously for 3 months. Then after that, I think it was 6 months. I did it for 6 months, 3 days a week. And on the days that I wasn't there, I was either in AA or I was at church. For a while, I would go to AA and church. But after a while, church became my AA. That was my place where I found strength, hope, and all of these things that they teach you in AA. I learned that. You know, I started building a healthier family unit around me. It was my church. It wasn't my biological family. It was my church family that became my strength. After I really did that, I let go of the toxic people. I blocked the toxic people. I blocked anyone that was not there for me and was not there to build me up, or I could get strength from or advice from. They were out. Bye. I'm gonna see you later. Like, And then, you know, when the Bible says you got to renew your mind and change, you know, go from a babe and grow like that. That's what I did. I was not playing. My grandmother in my church said, start reading Romans 8. So I just continuously read Romans 8 because I still didn't feel what everybody else was like believing in me. I didn't feel it. I didn't see it for myself. I was like, oh no, see, I still don't feel it. I feel like shit. Excuse my friends, but I feel like crap.
You're good. Let it go. Let it go.
Still. I can't eat. I'm like, I feel gross, yucky. But all I said was like, you know what? I'm still going to get up every day. Because my pastor told me, he was like, every day, make your bed. Every day, make a new habit every day. And once you start doing that, and it's like nothing, it's water like it was for you to drink every day, then change it and do something else. Right. So first it was just making my bed every day. That was hard as hell. Going to the Tarzana Treatment Center, going and seeing my therapist twice a week. I saw her twice a week, every week. And I did that consistently for 6 months. And instead of just pushing what she said aside, I really took what she said and took it to heart, because when I first started, I was having anxiety attacks every single day. I was having mood swings almost 3-5 times a day. You know, I was just, I mentally and physically was just messed up. And I started listening to my psychiatrist, started taking the medication they wanted me to take. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And slowly but surely, my mindset started to change. I started being what I was reading every day from the Word, or what I was reading every day in the big book. You know, I started to pick it up. I started to grasp it, and I
Right.
started to act like it.
Mm-hmm.
So after the 6 months, I continuously did that. My ex, about 3 months before, like 3 months in, about 5 months in, mind you, never talked to him, shut him out, like was just like, I'm just gonna continuously do this until I'm done with everything. I'm gonna go to court.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but at the same time, I also was praying, like, God, you know, I need my kids. They're my strength. They're my, you know, they're not my everything, but they're my strength. You know, seeing them look at me with a better view was something that pushed me every single day.
Right.
And I would go to God and I'm like, all right, God, I need you to make a miracle happen. I believe in you and I have faith in you, and more so now than I've ever had in my life. I did that and I prayed that for 1 month, straight 1 month, 30 days, 30-day mark. My ex asked for my church address. I was like, my church address? All right, sure, no problem. Gave him my church address. He brings my kids. I ended up seeing them after almost a year of not seeing them. Got to see them, got to hold them, you know, got to just cry on them and just tell them how much I love them and miss them. He went to my pastor, who I called Papa. I was like, I'm willing to have them here every Sunday for 3 hours with her because they need their mother. That wasn't him, that was God, because he would never say anything like that for me. So I was like, okay, thank you, Lord. So I ended up doing that and seeing them consistently for 3 months. In those 3 months, I had ended up losing 2 of my cars because of all of my alcohol and driving and, you know, under the influence and, you know, doing really stupid stuff. I ended up losing 2 cars. So I had a bucket of a car. I mean, it was a 1995 PT Cruiser. It was a bucket. And I'm 6'2". I had to squeeze in that little thing. I was praying over my car and I'm like, you know what, Lord, I'm doing everything you want me to do. You are going to get me a better car. I'm going to get a better car. So I was seeing my kids consistently for about 2-3 months, still praying over my car because I had already prayed over my kids. And now I see my kids. So I'm like, all right, let me pray over something different. So I ended up praying over my car, cleaned it like it was a brand new car, took care of it like it was a brand new car, you know, prayed over it every time I got in the dang car. This thing didn't have no air conditioner. It was 104 outside, no air conditioner. It was a man. I said it was a bucket. It was a bucket. And I'm just gonna treat you as it. I'm gonna picture a newer, better car, a bigger car that will fit my kids. I just kept picturing that for another month. So then while I'm doing that, I'm also fixing my credit, because my credit just went to crap during my whole, you know, horrible shenanigans of not paying bills and, you know, things going to collection, things getting repoed, all sorts of crazy stuff. So my credit was cracked. But something I learned is pray without works is dead. So if you pray for something, you got to work towards it. Just like me working towards, you know, just like me working towards getting my kids, I had to pray for my kids, but I also had to go to class every day. I had to go to therapy every day. I had to take my medicine every day. You know, I had to do the stuff that I was praying to have, you know, because I knew the more works I put in, the more likely I was going to get what God was going to bless me with what I was praying for, as long as it was in his will. So I kept doing that. And I'm like, all right. So then with the car situation happened. I was doing the same thing, building up my credit, saving up, you know, treating my car as if it was a brand new car. And literally in a month, I went to a dealership and got it wasn't a brand new car, but it was a 2015. That's 10 years, 10 years better than the car I had.
Right.
SUV with zero down. And that was just from prayer. And the Spirit had told me, okay, go to the dealership now. I went exactly when he told me to, got the car. And I'm like sitting there like, oh my gosh, I was blessed, even though everybody was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. You know, the cars are in the bucket and you're going to have to pay more. I was like, I believe in God. I'm not tripping. God bless me with this. He's going to bless me with a job that I'm going to be able to afford this every single month. I am not tripping. So I just, you know, and people looked at me like, you just sound different and talk different. I said, because I know who I am in God. And this whole time that I've been walking sober, I've been learning who I am in him. not what other people thought of me, not even what my kids thought of me. I wanted to know what he thought of me and who I thought of myself as. Once I connected those two, shoot, I was unstoppable, baby.
Can't be stopped now.
Goodness
Can't be
gracious.
stopped.
Like, oh, even like, it was just like, it was a transformation. Like every day I was saying stuff different. I was no longer negative. And then I stopped wanting to take my medication. I'm like, I'm not bipolar. This is what people have been telling me I am. This is from all the consequences of drinking for those 2 years. This is from that natural consequence. This is from what people wanted me to believe. And I have people in my circles like, you're not bipolar, Melissa. You don't even act like it. Even when you weren't on medicine, you don't act bipolar. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to test my faith with God. I wasn't at first. I was real hesitant. And then I ended up with COVID. Luckily, I've been vaccinated, so it wasn't as bad as a lot of people. And I couldn't eat, couldn't drink, couldn't nothing. That means I couldn't take my meds for a whole week. But in that time, I was drinking soup. I was eating healthier. I wasn't putting a lot of salt. I couldn't eat that stuff. So all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, I got to take my meds. I'm back to being better. Tried taking it. It made me feel like I was overdosing all of a sudden. I'm like, what the heck? What do you mean I can't take the medication? I didn't have a doctor at the moment because my insurance had changed, because it was a new year. And I'm like, okay, this is new. So I'm like, all right, let me meditate on it. So I prayed. He said, don't take it. Don't. My sister called me the next day and she was like, something was wrong with you yesterday, huh? And I'm like, when you're spiritually connected with someone, they can feel what's going on with you.
Yeah, they can.
And, we were praying when I was on this ride. She was praying with me every week. We were reading the word together. So we got really connected.
Right.
So she just called me. She's like, I felt like I was overdosing. Are you okay? I'm like, I tried taking my medicine yesterday and I almost felt like I was overdosing. I couldn't go to sleep for like 5 hours because I was scared I wouldn't wake up.
Right.
She's like, don't take that stuff again. We need to go on a fast for a week.
Right.
Just go on a fast. I was like, I think we need to go on it for longer. I think we need to do it for a month. Because every time I do things for 30 days, because they say when you do things for 30 days, you change a habit. If you keep doing it for 30 days, you'll change the habit. I was like, okay, all right, bet. I have faith in God. I'm going to be just fine. Right. So I did it. Both of us did it. And I was putting natural stuff in my body in those 30 days. So you already know my brain was like, ooh, yay.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a difference even with my mood. And then even when I would feel some kind of weird way, I'd go and pray. I would go meditate. I would go do something different so I wouldn't feel that way. And at first, it was hell. I mean, it was just like me detoxing from alcohol. It was like detoxing from medication I've been putting in my system since I was 13.
Right.
And I'm like, ugh. And then on top of that, I kept hearing what people used to say to me. Oh, you can't do that. And, you're not stable enough for that. I said, hi, I believe in God. I'll be just fine. Trust me. So 30 days happened. When I say I had no mood swings, I had no depression, I had no anxiety, didn't even have to take an anxiety pill. No such a pill ever had to touch my lips ever again. And that's been 6 months.
Right.
I have been the most stable that I have ever been in my whole entire life. Now, to do that, though, I had to eat right. I had to drink plenty of water. I had to always get 6 to 8 hours of sleep every single day, no matter what. I don't even care if I had my kids. Now, in that time period that I had faith in God about my body, my spiritual, my mental, my physical, God was like, oh, I got something else. I haven't even been praying about it. God was like, I got something else for you. Since you're doing what I'm asking of you and you're being committed to it and you're diligently seeking me and diligently doing my will at all times, no matter how crappy you feel, you're praying for people, you're doing stuff, you're being in service to people. I got more for you. I was like, oh, Lord. Go to church that Sunday. My ex is there, to drop off the kids.
Right.
And he's like, we don't talk. Mind you, we don't talk.
Right.
He came up to me, he's like, Melissa, so I like to start overnights.
Oh.
Wait, what? Overnights. No court. Mind you, no court. Didn't have to even walk into a courthouse. I'm like, wait a minute, what? You want me to have them over nuts? He's like, yeah, starting next week. I was like, wait, what? Hold up. You wait, a man who hates me, that says everything got to be court ordered and everything else. I was like, oh, Jesus. I was like, yes, kept my composure. I was like, yes, I would do that.
Right.
Bring into the church, start praising and worshiping like, Lord, you said you're going to bless me, but I did not think that. Like, Lord have mercy, no court, no nothing. And I get my kids every bloody weekend.
Blessing.
Man, it got better. That's not even the start. That happened. Then I started to see, like, because mind you, he also went after me for child support.
Right.
He didn't I prayed about what amount I was capable of doing. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what they took. They didn't took no more and no less. He was mad, but I didn't care. That was God.
Right.
Because I'm his child and he listens to me.
Right.
So then after that, I'm like, Lord, this is tight. Now I have my kids every weekend. I can't do it on this kind of budget. I can't. Like, I have a good paying job, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But I was like, this ain't, I see better for me. This I need to step up even more. Mm-hmm. So God put in my spirit to start talking to people and start asking different questions about jobs. Started doing that. Someone told me, oh, there's a job fair. It's so funny you asked me because there's a job fair in 2 weeks. He's like, take that day off and go. I was like, you know what? I know that's God. I'm gonna go. Took the day off. Didn't care if I got in trouble. I was like, God told me to go. So I get to the interview. Had the interview. I even talked about God at this interview. Go figure. The man straight told me, you know what? I want you on my crew. So you're gonna be every shift they were applying for was supposed to be night shift. So he's like, no, I want you on day shift. I want you on my crew, and you should hear from me in no later than a week. I heard from him less than 24 hours.
Wow.
24 hours I heard from him. Wow. I'm like, all right. So then they go through they give me my offer letter in less than a couple days after that. Mm-hmm. And it was double than what I made. Double.
Wow.
Double. And I was like, Jesus, only you. Like,
yeah,
I was like, oh my God. Like, but mind you, before that interview, I had told God, I said, if you bless me with this job, I am going to give back. I'm not just going, if I can give it to the church, I will, but I will always give to someone once a week, every time I get paid. Right. So I had that in mind and I did that. I was like, I was like, all right, it took them a month to get back to me because it was a whole process. It was, a new company. In the offer letter, they were like, oh, sorry, but we're giving you nights. I was like, no, my boss, I said it, spoke it. My boss said I was day shift. They go on the computer. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a mistype. You are day shift. I was like, People around me were getting jobs. They were on night shift and they were mad. They were hot. I was like, that's my God. I don't know what to tell you. So I go and I'm like, all right, Lord. All right. So I go on my first day. People are complaining because it's a training position. Like you got to train and you got to be, because it's a government kind of job. So there's a process for it. People were complaining. I'm like, don't put that on me. No. In the process that I'm sitting here, I'm mentally and physically getting myself prepared. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to just sit here. I'm going to read motivational books and all of these things, keep putting into myself because this is God's plan. God had this happen for a reason. I got to prepare myself because something coming. Right. I get all of our paperwork. I'm going to make almost 100% more or 90% more than I made prior. Right. And I was just like, Lord, Jesus, I'm going to be. And then on top of that, I was able to get a sign-on bonus. So remember my credit. Remember I said that earlier.
Right. Yeah, you said that earlier.
I was in debt because of my shenanigans.
Right.
They gave me a sign-on bonus that was able to pay for all my debts, all of them. And I was like, Jesus, I bought what? And then people ask me, they're like, oh, you feeling you? I'm like, no, I'm humble. I'm humble.
That's because
I can't, I'm not going to get big headed, nor am I going to, I'm not even saying this to boast. It's just,
now. It's your testimony.
It's a testimony of if you do what you're supposed to, because in AA, they say you got to do this and you got to do that. Yes, you can. However, when they say you got to have a higher power, if you lean more on your higher power than yourself, on your crappy days, on your good days, on your bad days, and you diligently do that, you're going to feel more peaceful. You're going to become the sunshine. You're going to feel, have energy. All these things that you've been wanting is going to happen. Right. And a lot of people get it construed because they think they got to do this certain plan. I'm like, no, just give it to him. At the end of the day, give it to him, because you'll be dead surprised on just how much your life will catapult. You just be surprised. Right. And people look at me they look at me now and they're just like, you don't look like the same Melissa. I'm like, I know. Thank you. That's nothing but God. That ain't me.
Right.
That's just that's it. That's pretty much a lot of it.
I can see you and you really at peace with yourself, and I'm loving it. I can really see that you please. I can see that you glowing right now, and see that's what we need. And let me touch on what you said also. That is one of the things that I always talk about on this channel. I like to talk about, because like when I went to rehab, they always talk about the 12 steps, the 12 steps, the 12 steps. But like you said, in my belief, putting your faith into a higher power, which is God. You put him first. Them 12 steps go be there. But when you put it in, you hear me? They go be there. They go be there.
I didn't even have a sponsor. This whole year and a half, didn't have a sponsor, never did the 12 steps. But what's crazy is the more I grew with God, I was doing the 12 steps without the 12 steps.
Right.
I was asking for forgiveness. I was doing all these things that it says in the 12 steps. I was doing. Being of service, like everything. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Not going to work.
That's what it is. Because a lot of people love to beat you over the head. Even sometimes you'll get some sponsors that be like, okay, we go work the 12 steps like this. But if that's how they work the 12 steps, you might be wanting to work the 12 steps in your way. Yeah.
And say that. And that was one of say that. Because that right there, people forget. And even now, when I try to walk in an AA group, they get mad at me. They were like, I say I'm a recovered alcoholic. They're like, recovered alcoholic? What's that? Why don't you say I'm an alcoholic? Because here's something I learned in this journey. If you keep repeating something to yourself, you're gonna be that. So I stopped calling myself an alcoholic. I stopped calling myself an alcoholic. I don't even raise my hand if I go to AA. No, you're not gonna put that on me, because I've been delivered from it. So why am I gonna keep saying that to myself? Why am I gonna keep that cloud over myself? Why? It's just gonna make me battle with something continuously and think about it continuously. Why?
And they say that all the time. You sure are right about that, because they say once you are in recovery and once you're an alcoholic, you always. I'm like, how is that? If God delivers me out of this, how am I going to always be that? We used to have meetings in the rehab that I was in, and we used to go head in head with the speakers. It's like, when you're in recovery, you always in recovery. I'm like, if I turn over this leaf to my higher power, which is God, and he delivered me out of this situation, out of this hellhole, out of this darkness place, I'm delivered through his blood, through his grace. That's how you can be delivered. But like I always say, that the 12 steps are essential. But when you put your faith into God, you put it in his hands, oh man, you can't beat you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
He'll change your mindset. He'll change your mindset. And like, even when you go through stuff, because every person goes through stuff, even when you go through stuff, it's an obstacle. It's not a problem. It's not an obstacle. It's just like, it's a thing. It's not even, you've put on that shield, that mindset. So it don't bother you no more. You don't even, the more you do it, something in the Bible that says something, it says, what you feed is what is going to have a hold of you. So if you feed positivity, your spirit, all of that, that is going to outrun your flesh and wanting alcohol, wanting drugs, wanting to go have sex with who knows who. You know, all those bad behaviors that you used to do, you'll no longer want to do. And even when you try to go back to it, you're going to be like, yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
You're right, because it's positive affirmations. It's the law of attraction. What you put into this world is what you're going to get back. If you constantly putting out negative energy, that is what you're going to receive in the end. If you putting out positive energy, if you sitting there telling yourself, I am today will be a good day. This month will be a great month in recovery, in my sobriety. You know, you speak highly of yourself, and them positive affirmations, they come true. Because when you sitting in your addiction and you, oh man, I can't get right, or I can't go get a job for shit, I can't do this. You added on that negative energy towards you, and that make it always hard to try to climb up out that hole like that.
It does, but don't get me wrong. It takes work, and it takes you continuously telling you positive affirmations over and over and over and over until it just clicks. And it'll just all of a sudden you'll wake up and you'll be like, say what?
Yeah.
You know, everything will look brighter. You know, everything will feel different. You'll just be like, oh, I like this. Let me keep doing what I was doing. I don't know what that was, but I like it. Then you'll have a bad day and you'll be like, no, I did something wrong. What'd I do? You got to self-check. You know, self-check. Okay, what did I do wrong today that makes me feel real crappy and want to drink? It's usually something you did to yourself, or a dirty thought that you thought in your brain that made you want to go get a drink. Then you gotta recalculate and be like, no, I remember now. I didn't go do self-care. I didn't meditate. I didn't do something that made me happy. You know, I didn't feed my spirit self. Oh, that's why I wanted to drink. I see. You know, okay. That makes sense now. You know, it's little stuff like that, but a lot of people don't talk about this. They don't. They just be like, oh, do the 12 steps, you'll be great. Oh, no. Yeah. You know, or they'll be like, oh, you know, they don't even talk about how crappy you're going to feel in the process. And you got to keep believing in your brain, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. That's why they tell you 1 day at a time, 1 minute at a time, especially in the beginning, because you feel like shit. Trust and believe. You will feel like shit.
You sure right. You sure right. I mean, woo, girl, you bringing that fire today, and I so appreciate that. But I'm glad I finally got somebody that's kind of think like me about them 12 steps, because I always say that, and I have like ministers on here as well. They also say the same thing. Yeah, they also, the ministers, sometimes they say, I ask them the same question as me and you said. The 12 steps are good, but when we put our faith into the Lord and he delivered me out of this, how can I always be an alcoholic? How can I always be a druggie? But see, like you said, when you go to them AA meetings, the first thing you say, hi, I'm an alcoholic. Okay, that may be true. Like you said, you're a recovered alcoholic. I love the way you said that. I likes that. I got a few questions for you, because I see we could do this all day long. We can do this. I like this. I'm gonna have to have you on this show a little more often, if that's okay with you.
Oh, it's so funny when you asked me. I had prayed to God that I needed to, and what more did I need to do to give light to my life and how he helped me. Right. So it's crazy. So go ahead and ask your question, baby.
I got you. Okay. After making it through this pandemic, what does the future hold for you today? After making it through this pandemic, what does the future hold for you?
Well, see, me and the pandemic, it never bothered me.
Right.
Because I knew I was covered by the blood. Just like Moses had put the blood over, told, everyone to put the blood over their household. Mm-hmm. And when he had to go kill the firstborns of everyone that didn't believe in God, and covered that. That's how I felt when it came to the pandemic. So it's still like a regular day for me. But now I strive every day to live my life as if it's my last. I strive to live my life as if I'm going to see my Lord the next day, or in a couple, or that will be my last hour, day, or whatever. No, I don't speak negativity like that's going to happen. It's just, I just always have that in my brain. I do, because that strives me to forever act as he teaches us in the word. That is what it does. And I'm at peace with it. I'm at peace. And I'm able to send my sunshine to every single other person.
Yeah, I love the way you do it, because like I said, I can see the glow in you, and I can see the change, and I can see that smile on your face. It's like you really are redefining yourself. That's how you redefine yourself in addiction. You got to look yourself in the mirror. You got to figure out who you are, and you got to want it. And like you also said, you gotta want to do the work. You gotta put the work in, because this stuff just don't fall out the sky. If you are willing to put the work in, hey, you can always see the outcome, and everybody can see it. I got another question for you.
All right.
Are you enjoying life at this moment?
Every day. Every day I wake up, I'm happy. Every night I go to sleep, I'm at peace. I'm generally the most happiest I have ever been in my whole entire life.
Okay. What are you most afraid about in your recovery?
I try not to. We are not supposed to be a fear. Mm-hmm. So why should I be afraid of anything?
Right.
Because we, as children of God, we are not supposed to be a fear. So I rebuttal your question, and I just don't accept it.
I feel it. Do your thing. This is a show, girl. We just going live, and we gonna tell it like a TIE. Like Bernie Mac say, like a TIE is. Okay. What are your goals? What are your goals heading into the future?
My dream is to own a duplex first, and probably more, and be able to make it into a facility for people that are getting out of domestic violence, for people that are getting out of a program. I'm trying to see how to do that, to be able to get government funding for a lot of that, because there is ways to do it. You just have to find the right people and the right things.
Right.
Because at first I was going to buy a house, but I learned from people that I work with that that's the worst thing you can do at first. It's better to find something that will make you money, and and also be doing your dream, which is giving back to others. That's my biggest dream. So I'm praying to God I'll be able to do that. And I'm praying to God to be able to be a motivational speaker for other people with mental illness, from addiction to, going through trauma of all sorts, and give them hope.
Mm-hmm. Are you well on your way? You well on your way. You doing your thing, girl. I say that. Well, are you happy in that peace at this moment?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't let no one take this. No.
Not even a boyfriend or nothing.
No. It's me, my dogs, my kids. That's it. No, thank you. Unless God tells you you're supposed to be in my life, then maybe. But not right now.
What'd you say, in that order?
In that order.
Okay, I got another one for you. What question will the new Melissa ask the old Melissa?
Wow, that's a good question. Why do you feel like you're not enough? Why do you feel like you're not enough, that you have to destroy yourself? That I know now, but I know that I should have asked myself that question. A lot of people you hurt yourself because you're hurt, and I could have not gone through some of the stuff I went through if I had only taken care of Melissa, and not self-medicated like I was supposed to. But then at the same time, I look at it as a blessing too, because if I hadn't gone through that, I would have been that big nose, overly bougie, as I like to say it, overly confident, unhumble, just a whole gross kind of Christian. All those hypocritical Christians, that would have been me.
Right.
And ever since I went through all I went through, I am the most humblest Christian I've ever been in my life. And half the time I look at Christians, I'll be like, oh, Jesus, all I'm going to do is pray for you. That's all I can do.
Right.
You know, that's
Right.
why so many people don't want to go to God. They want to have a different kind of higher power. They don't, because people don't act like they're supposed to act. And it just irritates me. But I can't let it irritate me, but still irritates me.
I see your passion for it. I can really see your passion for it. Yes, I can see
It's
it.
people. I just
Right.
want to save people. I don't go for the glitz and the glamour. I go
Me.
because I want to help people. You know,
Yes,
I want people to feel this peace.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of that because I had a family member. Well, this ain't even a year in since I started this channel, and I got well over 1,100 plus subscribers. But the thing about it is I didn't start it for that. I started this channel just to share my videos and share my journey, and maybe in the long run, see, this is my vice. I like to get on here and share stories and listen. I'm learning at the same time. Because we can always look at that AA book, the big book, and we can go through that all day till it drive me crazy. But reaching out and making friends with others and sharing their story and their journey as well on my channel is what I love to do, is what I found myself being passionate about now. And I had a family member who was like, well, I love the way what you're doing. I love what you're doing, but stay off of YouTube. I'm like, yeah, that didn't really make sense to me, because if it's keeping me clean and that's my vice and it's what working after, like I said, next month will be a full year. If that's my vice and plus it in the same sense, I'm helping others, why not do it? You know what I mean? So, like I said, it was like I'm rubbing people the wrong way. But if I'm rubbing them the wrong way, that means I'm doing something good. That means I'm actually doing my job.
There you
You know what
go.
I'm
There
saying?
you
I'm
go.
doing my job. I got another question for you.
Go ahead.
Well, how are you, Melissa? How are you at this moment?
I have my ups, I have my downs.
Right.
Just like any other person, it doesn't bother me. It honestly, to God, does not bother me. I'm going through stuff between my kids and their dad, but instead of letting it bother me and making me want to drink, I'm actually taking it and using it to pray, using it to even pray for him. When they say pray for your enemies, when you can pray for your enemies, means that you're mature. Oh, Lord, I'm learning that. But other than that, I cannot complain. I really can't. At times, of course, you get lonely, you get sad, you get, in your little feelings sometimes, but you just gotta shake it off and be like, you know what? Never mind. It's cool. It's cool. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine. I'll teach you.
I see it. I see that glow in you. I see that glow. What are your passion?
People,
Okay.
loving people unconditionally is my passion. I do it differently than most. I really, truly do. And I have no strings with it. It's only, for the most part, just to help people, make them feel better about themselves for that split moment. It could be for a season or, for that moment. And it's my kids. God, I love reading the word sometimes because I find out some stuff. I'll be like, I read that before. Like, wait a minute. That's what that meant. Okay. I see you. I have a passion for continuously trying to change myself, continuously challenging myself every day, not get stagnant in where I'm at. And I'm enjoying life. I just love everything, really, to be honest with you.
Like
Anything
I said,
that gives me like peace, love, and joy, I'm all for it. Come on, let's go. Come on.
you got a fan and you got a friend over here always, so we can always connect. We're gonna stay connected.
All
And
right.
like I said, this is my platform. If anybody out there just tuning in right now, this is Mr. Show Out TV, and this is Recovery Talk, where I have guests on and we talk about addiction related topics. We talk about changing the narrative in addiction. And if you're just tuning in right now, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you can be notified anytime I go live. like today when I have Miss Melissa Slacks on this on in the studio, and she dropping number straight jewels and everything down for y'all today. So this is what we love to do. This is what we love to do. Miss Melissa, do you have anything that you would love to tell to the younger people that might be out there listening, might be out there watching, that is going through anything or battling anything?
Honestly, I know it's gonna sound weird. Um, I honestly want them to know that they're loved.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to know that anything is possible if they put their mind to it. Um, all they have to do is ask for help, ask for support, ask for, that type of stuff. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid just because your parents say don't do it, keep quiet. You shouldn't say nothing kind of thing. Just, ask. It doesn't harm you to ask. And that I hope and pray that my prayers for all the children when it comes to this world is covers them and strengthens them, because they're going through so much and not being taught how to live in this new world that we live in.
Right.
And they go through trials and tribulations, but I want them to know that someone out there, regardless if I know you or not, I still care. And I pray for you daily, just so that you have some type of covering over your life, because maybe your family doesn't believe, or maybe because you're living on the streets, or you feel like you got no one. Baby, if you go and pray and just ask God, he'll guide you. Trust me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for that. And I got one last question.
Okay.
Would you be on the show again?
Heck yeah. All the time, man.
Thank you.
Monthly
Thank you.
tickets for all I care. I'm here. I'm
Thank
here.
you.
Like, yes.
Thank you. I will be contacting you. And like I said, thank you so much for blessing us today. Thank you for blessing the viewers with your intellect, with your story, with your journey. Because I know it might be somebody, or it could be a lot of people out there that was listening and watching today and probably got something out of it. So thank you, and make sure you keep in touch with me, okay?
I will. All right, dog. Thank you.
Thank you, baby. There y'all have it. What? Miss Melissa Slacks came in through the day dropping jewels, everybody. See, we changing the narrative in 2022. We trying to change. We trying to just change things. We just trying to open it up for a lot of people. This is my platform. This is what I stand for. This is what I stand on. This is Recovery Talk. This is Mr. Show Out TV. And for those out there that is just watching right now, if you're just tuning in right now, y'all missed a great show. Like I said, Miss Melissa Slacks came in, and we had a great discussion about redefining yourself. See, she redefined herself in addiction, and she carrying it very well. So I tip my hat off to her. I tip my hat off to what she's doing and what she's standing for, because I can see the glow in her. She is really transformed. She is really redefining herself in addiction. And that is what we're looking for on Mr. Show Out TV, Recovery Talk. And if you want to be a guest on my show, please contact me at showoutmedia, LLC at mail.com, so I can set everything up and we can have you as a guest appearance on the show as well. But that is what we're doing, everybody. I hope everybody out there really loved this show, because I know I did. And I hope everybody out there got something out of it. So that is what we're doing. We're in addiction, everybody. We're trying to change the narrative. We're trying to uplift people in addiction. And we're trying to inspire those in addiction. So continue to rock with your boy, and continue to share my videos, and continue to watch my video in its entirety. Watch it from the beginning to the end, and continue to give me those likes. Let's run up these likes on YouTube so they can continue to show my videos and this positive message on the feeds at all times. We got to run these likes up, everybody. So continue to subscribe and continue to hit the like button for me. Also, if anybody out there that would love to buy some merch, I got some recovery products that that I sell as well. So if anybody out there that would love to buy a t-shirt, I have women t-shirts, I have men t-shirts, I have coffee mugs as well. So that's what we're doing, everybody. We're trying to inspire those in addiction. We're trying to change the narrative. Together, we can change the narrative in 2022. So I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. And like I said, continue to rock with your boy. And like I said also, continue to share my message. Because there's some people out there that probably didn't watch this today. It's somebody out there that's battling addiction. It's somebody out there that's going through something. Share this message with them. Let's continue to give people hope. This is Mr. Show Out TV. I hope everybody liked this today. I know I sure did. I tip my hat off to Melissa Slacks for joining me today and blessing us today on the show. Hey, this recovery talk. This is Mr. Show Out TV. Yeah.
Like I said, it's just my thing is
I'm trying to help these young people. You know, I've done events with men. As far as we go, a lot of our friends dead. They are dead. God froze up on my hand too. But I also want to tell you this.
don't talk abuse. We don't talk about those things because deep down it's been generational